Hi everybody, welcome along to this week's episode of the Boots to Billing podcast. My name's Alex McFadden. I'm joined by my co-host as always, Chris Fahey. Today I've been chasing this guy since the day I started my company. He was one of the first people I told about the idea for my company. He's one of the biggest bandits I know on the golf course as well, let me tell you. But over 340 odd appearances at senior level, and I can't wait to hear a bit about his career. So Tam McManus, thank you for giving us the time, mate. How you doing?
No, pleasure to be on. As I said, I don't really do a lot of podcasts, but you were insistent for me to come on.
See, honestly, it's a bad day when you've done 9 episodes and one of your mates eventually comes on.
You feel special, mate.
See, a wee bit. I mean, he's always looked after me, Tam, so it's good. But listen, I think the big thing with this, mate, is I genuinely mean this. Like, we've known each other quite a long time now. You were one of the first people I spoke to about my business because I wanted to get genuinely an ex-pro who I respected's opinion on it. But there was also the thing of me needing that support network around me, and it was brilliant to get to meet you to talk about it because it gave me the confidence to go, do you know what, I think I've got a business here. But the biggest thing is, and I genuinely feel this, like I said this to you, I've seen you at your speaking events loads. It's the last compliment I'll give you today. You're fucking brilliant at them, right? And you're amazing at them. But we've never really, in the group we hang about, we sat down and spoke about your career. It's always just beers and golf and a laugh. So I'm genuinely interested to talk about it today. So as we do, mate, we all guess, let's jump back to the start. I know, how does a young boy, Glasgow boy, get picked up? Was it Hibs the first team?
Yeah, it was. So I played boys clubs. I played with Celtic North. They were a club in Sighthill.
I remember them.
They played in the cage at Sighthill.
On the
that was a rough area. We had a great home record. The teams were scared to come to Sighthill to play, so we played there. And then I went to West Park, Bishop Briggs. So I was a kind of Springburn, Ballarnot, stroke Bishop Briggs boy. I better not say Bishop Briggs because that's the tough area. But I went to West Park. So we played Celtic North in a Scottish Cup semi-final at Peasy's Park. Yeah. And I scored a hat-trick. We won 3-2 and Hibs Scout was there. A guy, Roger McElvie. Yeah. And then they invited me in to go and train with Hibs. And at that point I wasn't really training with anybody. So a lot of the guys at West Park were all training with clubs. Yeah. And my old man was like, just keep doing what you're doing and all that, and somebody will come in. I wasn't in a rush to go and train with people, but then I went and trained with Hibs, and ended up through in Edinburgh with Big Alan Russell, Martin Hughes, who I've been told not to say anything about.
The pre-warned.
The two Dempseys, Alan Dempsey, Mark Dempsey. Yeah. So there was quite a squad for Glasgow.
Good players as well,
and
mate.
We played and we stayed through there in the summer holidays and Easter holidays at Donald Park's Hotel in Haymarket. Wow. And we'll not get into the stories with them.
Parky's a character, isn't he?
Donald Park was brilliant. I mean, I'll go into a wee bit about Parky later on, but Parky was a great coach.
What age was he at this point?
So I was 15, 16. I ended up training with Celtic as well, so I had an opportunity to sign for Celtic as well with Willie McStay.
Right.
And I don't know, I grew up a Celtic fan, my old man's a Celtic fan, and I just got a better feel at Hibs. I just enjoyed it more at Hibs, and my dad's like, listen, it's your choice. You can pick who you want to go and sign with, and I ended up signing with Hibs instead of Celtic. So
probably a good choice. I think at that age, competition and getting to play and all that stuff may be the right thing.
Better pathway for me, I think, probably at Hibs. I think Celtic and Rangers, particularly at that point, you had to be really, really good to come through.
And Hibs gave the young boys a chance. Celtic, you maybe not get that same chance here.
Aye, absolutely. And that was probably one of the main factors that I thought I'd probably have a better chance at Hibs and Celtic. A quick story before we go on. This was before sat navs and mobiles and all that. This was probably 1996, 97. Yeah. And Donald Park had said I didn't come through to sign you, and it was a snowy night, and I stayed in Ballarnot. And 7 o'clock, he says, right, over there at 7 o'clock, phoned the house phone, right, so that was it. And it was bucketing of snow, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30. My man Dad were sitting with the best tea in the China and all that, waiting for me Parky to come. He's not going to come, he's not going to turn up. Then about 9 o'clock, door goes, Parky still on and freezing. Been driving about looking for my house for about 2 hours, and that was one of the main factors for me, because I thought he's made some effort to come and sign me.
That's good.
And he came up and bang, signed. So that was probably one of the biggest reasons again why I signed with Hibs.
Been raging.
Oh, Beelan, his wee tash was all frozen. His tash was frozen. He came in and got a cup of tea, but Parky was a big influence on me as well.
How did you find the jumping standard then for playing like boys club football and through to Hibs with all the boys? Was it massive? Or?
I don't think it's probably as big as it is now, because all the boys clubs were, there wasn't really pro youth at that point. All the boys clubs were really, really good. West Parks, Mill Uniteds, Hillwoods, boys clubs like that were all strong. And all the boys usually just went for there into clubs. But yeah, obviously you're playing with the best boys in Scotland at that point. So there was a wee bit of a jump, but I don't think it's as big as it is now.
No. Who did you go into at Hibs then? Who was the young boys that would know then that you went into that Hibs team with, or the youth team with?
So as I say, the guys that I mentioned, Martin Hughes, Kenny Miller was a year older. So some of the guys through there are a year older. Tim McLeish, Andy Frame. Don't know if you know Framey. Aye, Andy Frame was there. So they were a year older. So they were there staying in a hotel. But it was me, Alan Dempsey, Mark Dempsey, Alan Russell, Martin Hughes. I'm trying to think who else. I don't want to forget anybody. But that was the kind of 5 or 6 that we all stayed in.
Hughesy always spoke very fondly of that time. So he was my captain at Athlete, Hughesy, and he was dead. He was serious in the foot up. He was a great guy off it as well. So he used to talk about that. Like he held it quite fun. I know. He was working the First Point USA for a while with JP. He's a brilliant boy. So
Framey used to think he was David Beckham, didn't he?
Framey was a right handsome boy. He was David Beckham at the time. Good player as well, Framey.
Good centre mid. Played with him at Scotland under 18s together.
So how long, mate, did it take for going through there to getting in the first team? I know Stranraer was your debut, wasn't it, if Wikipedia's right?
It was, aye. Wikipedia's got that one right. So I signed for 16 2-year YTS, and we all stayed in Donald Park's hotel. And Hibs, the first season I was there was under Alex McLeish.
Right.
Sorry, firstly Jim Duffy.
Right.
So if you don't know if you remember, Chick Charnley scored a goal against Celtic. Last minute, Larson's debut. He tapped it to him. So I was in the ground staff and I cleaned Chick's boots at that point. And Chick's Celtic mad. And he came in after the game and he wasn't that buzzing. He was just won the game
as well, wasn't it?
Great goal. And
Larson still tells the story. I watched him in Mulgrews thing talking about it.
He was talking about it in the overlap.
The overlap, he was talking about it.
Aye, and you can imagine social media and Twitter was about by then.
I know,
they've been saying he's rubbish, he's crap. And so I cleaned Chick's boots, and Hibs were top of the league at one point in that season, and then we just went like that. Plummeted, round about the bottom of the league, and Alex McLeish came in towards the end of the season to try and save Hibs. Didn't quite do that. Into the first division, and I mean, the players that we signed in the first division would Mixu Patalainen, Stevie Crawford, Pat McGinley, Russell Latapy, Frank Sauzee. Like, it was an unbelievable first division
Sauzee,
team.
Sauzee
was brilliant. And listen, they won the league. I think they won the league by 25-30 points. So towards the end of that season, 2 or 3 games to go, we'd won the league, and McLeish is like a couple of young boys in the squad. So I made my debut down at Stranraer. We won 4-0, nearly scored, hit a shot. Keeper saved it. Kenny Miller tapped it in for his first goal for Hibs. So I always say to him, I set his first goal up. But
my mate's a Hibs fan, Pete Morrison, and he says that's his favourite season as a Hibs fan when they won the championship. Because I think you were getting like 17,000-18,000 at home games. He just said the whole thing was brilliant that season. The style of play and everything.
Yeah, it was. I think when clubs drop down into that and they're flying, you get bigger crowds. Teams want to see fans want to see teams winning. So. And very entertaining team, and Big Yogi was there as well, who was a big character. So yeah, that was a fantastic squad of players. As I said, we won that league, then went into the Premier League the next season, and again flying up to finish third that season. I made my first start against Hearts in the last game of the season. Alex McLeish gave me basically my first start against Hearts, and Big Egg loved me. Big Egg gave me a 3-year deal. I was a year into my YTS, he gave me a 3-year deal, and then he gave me a 5-year deal about a year later. So McLeish really liked me, so that was how I kind of made my name at Hibs.
He's a massively underrated manager, Alex McLeish. You look at his career at Hibs and then Rangers, but he sort of gets over to Scotland. He sort of gets overlooked, I think. Did you rate him as a manager?
I thought I think he's probably the best manager I've ever worked under. I think because his Scotland spell maybe soured it a wee bit. But I think he set the groundwork for the managers after him because of the way he set his team up and gave players caps. But McLeish was brilliant, tactically superb, man management, make you feel £1 million pounds. So yeah, Alec was top notch. Probably the best manager I've worked under.
Good. Well done. So, mate, one question we ask everybody, because I know it happened to you a few times: loan spells. We speak about. Is it missing for today's game now? Because we talk about playing with men. Like when I went into junior changing rooms at 18, you're a wee guy in a man's world. Did the loans, did you go to East 5 and Airdrie during your time? How did you find that as an experience going out and playing?
Best thing I've ever done. Best thing. I could recommend it to any young player just now or watching the programme. I say go out and learn your trade. I was 17 or 18.
Oh yeah.
Rob Shannon, who used to play with Hibs, so at that point Hibs were playing in the reserve league, which was pretty good. There was a lot of experienced guys. It was probably different to what it is now. There was 3 or 4 guys dropping down who weren't playing, but always involved. But Rab Shannon came to one of the games. I was doing well with Hibs under 21s kind of reserve team, and Rab came to the game and said, "Do you want to come on loan?" And Donald Park says, "Get yourself out there." Aye. So first game was Dumbarton at home, and I scored, and we won 2-1. Second game we drew, and I missed a chance in the last minute. And I remember coming in, and there was a lot of experienced guys at East Fife at that time, and I came in no balling, just kind of laughing and joking. And there's a guy, Ray Sharp, left back, baldy guy, was about 35, really experienced guy, just absolutely slaughtered me. He's like, "Mate, but you're laughing at." He said, "You just cost us 80 quid win bonus." I went, "What?" He said, "You just cost us 80 quid, so don't be sitting in here laughing."
You'll never forget.
So straight away I thought to myself, I've just cost you guys money, and that 80 quid pies are night out, or pies are their beer money or whatever. So, and then after that I just loved it. I loved it, loved being involved, loved scoring a goal, getting your name in the paper getting your name in Soccer Saturday, and just making a name for yourself. Getting your teletext. I would have been teletext. And just going out and playing in front of a crowd, playing in games that mattered. And you get a lot of pro youth games, I go and watch them, and they don't matter. They don't. You know, it's a league table, but you go out and play with East Fife or Albion Rovers or anything like that, and points matter, you know, results matter.
We talk about it all the time on here. I think the gap between youth team football and B team football and first team football is too big. I think they need to bring back the reserve games, and because that's what I learned a lot if I was playing with these experienced pros, the 4 or 5 boys that are maybe injured or coming back from injury.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that the set up now, there is too big a gap and for pro youth, and you've got these guys playing against each other all the way from under 12s to under 18s. There's no competitiveness, there's no edge. And you're right, in the old reserve league there was always 4 or 5 first team players coming down. I remember one of the games I came down, Mo Malpass was about 85 and he was playing for Dundee United, and I was only a boy. And I was playing as a striker, he was playing centre half, and I made a run into the channel, and he said, "What are you running in there for?" I says, what? He was talking to me. I says, "What?" He says, "Why are you running in there?" He says, "Where's the space?" I went, "Probably in there." He says, "Well, if you run in there, you're going to get the ball on you." I'll never forget that. I thought, he's trying to help me and I'm playing against him. Eventually he became the assistant manager under 21s. About 3 or 4 years later I get picked for Scotland under 21s, and he came in and he says, "Told you. You started to run that way, don't you? Rather than that way. That's how you're in the squad." So just guys like that, and I played with guys like Matthias Jack and all that, just guys that were injured, dropping down into the reserves, and it helps you, and they always try to help you as well, young kids.
I said to Chris, I watched a thing with McCoy's talking about that situation, but also young boys not playing with all the guys in the street now. It's that whole mentality of, can you compete with all the guys? And also, most of the time, Chris has mentioned to me, I used to play with some older guys, and sometimes you're like, what do you know? See, the older you get, you actually, the advice they were giving you was spot on. You were always a bit, I think that's probably, can it do a young players any harm now? Like being given a wee bit of grief for a consequence to doing something wrong?
Yeah, I think the game has changed a wee bit from that aspect of it. And listen, mate, I get some rollickings from people. You probably did as well. We all did. I don't know if that's still involved in the game, because you've got players maybe crying to their agents or young boys and going to the manager, going to HR and saying he's shouting at me or he's giving me abuse. So I think now it's more on that arm round the shoulder than a kick up the backside.
A bit different there. We could have took that.
Aye.
I don't think they would take it these days. I think you said they would run for the hills, wouldn't they?
Aye.
Phone the Samaritans. AG Payroll are delighted to be sponsoring Boots the Billing. Myself and Faddy are having a great time interviewing all these footballers and ex-footballers. But just to tell you a bit about what AG Payroll do, we provide payroll services for contractors in the UK, which is CIS, Umbrella and Bureau services, but we also can provide payroll services in over 160 countries worldwide. So if you need any help, give me a shout, and I'll let you get on with the show. So
mate, back to Hibs. I mean, obviously you started becoming a first team regular there. What was that like? I mean, I said to Chris, we've had obviously Jinky on here, and the Hibs teams that you played in were really, really top notch, man. Like this talent, he said.
Yeah, I played in several different teams in terms of experience. The first team I went into was the Alex McLeish team in the Championship, which was packed with experience. Frank Sauzee, Mick Supart-Linen, Pat McGinley, Big Yogi, you know, Russell Latapy, a really, really experienced team, Stuart Lovell. And then a couple of years later, when Alex left and Bobby Wilmson came in, there wasn't as much money at Hibs at that point, and he had to give young players a chance. So I think Bobby probably doesn't get the credit he deserves as well at Hibs, because you look at all the players that come through. Stephen Whittaker, I mean, one of the teams I played in, we played in a quarter-final against Celtic, and it was Stephen Whittaker, Gary O'Connor, Derek Riordan, Kevin Thompson, Scott Brown, myself, Stephen Dobbie, you know, it was a really young team. And listen, we were up and down. I mean, that was the season we were speaking about it before. We got to the League Cup final.
Yeah.
We beat Celtic at home, who were unbeaten that season under Martin O'Neill, Larsson, Sutton, Hartson. And then we beat Rangers in penalties with Arteta and De Boers, and we were on buttons. Like, we were. If you look at the team now, the Rangers and Celtic team in terms of the Hibs team, in terms of the wages, they were on 30, 40, 50 times what we were on, but we still beat them.
The money that they players made Hibs. Fortune, Scott Brown, Kevin Thompson.
Okay, I think Bruni's, they're talking about the boy Kieran Bowie now going for 5 or 6 million. I think Scott Brown's still the record transfer, 4.5 million. And Bruni was my boot boy at Hibs coming through, and he had the wee red stripe in his head and all that.
I remember that.
I've got a quick story, quite a funny story actually about Bruni. So I was coming back from injury and we were playing Hearts in a reserve league game at Easter Road. You'd always get a decent crowd there, 1,000, 1,500 people. And so anyway, we get there and I see this wee boy. He wasn't full time at this point, but he was on the bench. He must have been doing well with whoever he was with. And so we're on the dressing room, and the guy Mathias Doumbé, a French guy, first team player, hamstring, didn't fancy it, pulled his hamstring in the warm up. And Jerry McCabe and Jim Clark were taking the team, and I could see them stretched, and he'd gone, "We're going to play right back." And he says, "Bruno, you play right back, didn't you?" He says, "Aye, right, you're playing." And I'm thinking, he was playing against a guy called Jean-Louis Valois, who was a French player for Hearts, first team player, very good, coming back from injury. And this wee guy, Bruno was 15 or something, 16. Yeah. So anyway, we're doing the warm up and all that, and the game's about to kick off, and I see Jean-Louis Valois playing left wing and Bruno playing right back. Big Andy Webster was playing for Hearts at that point as well, and I just turned into Big Webby and went, "He's going to have a field day. I didn't know who that wee boy is. Like, he's going to rinse him." I'll never forget it. They took centre, they pinged the ball to Jean-Louis Valois, and Bruno came out from nowhere, sprinted and just went smashed him, bang, smashed him right in front of the dugouts, right in front of 1,000 people, and all the Hibs fans are going, "Whoa, their feet going." And I'm going, "Who's that?" And he was absolutely brilliant. He bombed up in energy, bombed up and down. Jean-Louis Valois switched wings after about 10 minutes. He wanted nothing to do with me, Bruni. And after the game, that was it. I didn't know who he was, but before then, but after that, I thought, he's got something about him, that wee boy. And he came in full time in the summer. But Bruni he's never changed. He's a brilliant guy.
Was he in as a, obviously
he's gone as a right back initially, then he went centre mid, and then he ended up as a striker. Because
he ended
up as a striker. Because him and Derek Riordan kind of finished that season, and because me and Gary O'Connor were the two strikers, and they two come in and kind of took our places towards the end of the season.
You mentioned somebody there, my ears pricked up, Russell Latapy.
Aye.
Did you have a night out with him?
Did you have a night out with him? Some player.
Firstly, I'll tell you how Russell signed for Hibs, and again I was involved in that. Playing in a reserve game by. I was a kid, I didn't just play reserve games. So we played Dundee United away in a reserve game, and like a freezing cold night up at Brecons Park. So we're up, and Jim Clark and KB, I don't know who was the assistant manager, maybe Andy Watson at that point. It was Alex McLeish and Watson, Winker. And Winker says, "Listen, I've got a trialist coming in." He says, his name's Russell, just letting you know. So it's quite a young team, so we get to Brecons Park, and I see this wee guy outside the dressing room just smoking a fag. And I thought it was somebody that walked to the park or something. Right? He's like, "All right, boys, I'm Russell." Smoking a fag, and he's seen Winker coming out, he's put his fag out. Just come in, freezing, pissing the rain. We start this game, pitches like a bog. He comes out, tights on, gloves and all that. So I'm just thinking, he's not going to fancy this at all. I didn't know who he was, no idea, right? But he came from Porto and all that. Anyway, game kicks off. Somebody launches this ball about 100 feet in the air, and it's got up in there and all that, and Russell just goes like that, bang, kills it. There's a Cruyff turn and just pings about a 40-yard pass to somebody's right on his toe, and I'm like, "Wow, who's that?" 25 minutes into the game, McLeish was at the game, took him off, just says, "Right, that'll do you," because there was another guy, there was a couple of agents in the stand. He went, "Get him off." 25 minutes he played, signed him right after the game, got his agent at your door, and Russell signed. But we went to Trinidad and Tobago. It was one of the best trips I've ever had in my life. I was only a kid. Trinidad and Tobago, it was a January winter break. There used to be a winter break in the SPL, and we went to Trinidad for a week. And Russell Latapy's like a god there. We came off the plane, there was like all these cameras, film crews, everything, and they're just filming Russell Latapy. Right? Anyway, it was a jolly night, just played a couple of friendlies earlier. But last night, McLeish like, "Right, boys, you've worked hard, going to have a night out." And we're in this pub, and who walks in? Brian Lara. So Brian Lara and Russell Latapy were sitting in this pub. There was people honestly busting. It was like the Beatles. So Russell was a legend there, but Russell, in terms of a night out, great wee guy, fantastic player as well. If Russell Latapy had a good attitude, he'd have played for Barcelona, Real Madrid. He'd have one of the worst attitudes ever. Like, he just didn't care. But
do you mind? You must have went to the Old Trash on a Tuesday night in Glasgow.
Aye.
Him and Dwight York were in there every Tuesday.
That's right,
Dwight York was playing Man United every Tuesday. He was in Trash.
Aye, that's right. Aye, him and Dwight York were pals. Remember because Russell get pumped at we were in the cup final against Celtic.
Yeah.
And so Monday, Tuesday, it was the Scottish Cup final was on a Saturday. It's last Saturday in May or whatever it was. Aye. And McLeish says, right, normal week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Russell's in training, but Tuesday night he went down south to meet Dwight York in Manchester. Thursday, Disney Trap for training. We came in and then somebody goes, "Do you seen the paper?" I went, "No." Front page of the Sun was Russell Latapy, Dwight York and Jordan in a taxi, right? And he's not training. And he must have told McLeish some lies, saying that he can't make it. And McLeish so McLeish bombed him for the final, and then bombed him completely away to Rangers. And then Alex McLeish ended up the Rangers manager.
That's right.
Me Russell must have been like that because McLeish totally fell out with him. That
I can imagine McLeish had a side to him where he would lose it.
Aye. I think McLeish was. As long as you were doing the business on the park, and Russell done the business on the park,
he was some player,
and he would turn up like 1 minute to 10 every day. 1 minute we were in for 10, 1 minute to 10, and he'd be the first away after training. But he was brilliant. He'd done the business, so McLeish turned a blind eye at it.
I mind when it used to get. Remember, you're a wee guy. Used to get these top 50 players, top 100 players in the world. Latapy was one of them because he was playing with Trinidad and Tobago. He was like
I played in the World Cup with him and all that. And
he was brilliant for Rangers, and all.
He was. See,
the best he played with it was just. I know you talk about Sauzee. Like whenever I
loved Frank Sauzee.
Did you?
And
your favourite?
Aye. He smoked as well, didn't he?
McLeish Sauzee liked a fag as well. Matthias Jack Pacolino, the former boys just smoked fags. But again with Frank Sauzee, like I'm a football nut. Like I used to watch everything, all European games. I remember them playing for Marseille against Rangers in the 2 legs, and he scored in one of the games. And he came in in trial with Hibs, not in trial, just to see if he still the legs. He was at Atlanta. He signed from Atlanta in Serie A for Hibs in the Championship. Like Hibs must have been paying him mega dough. And he was just frightening. 34, he was 35, and he had the hardest side foot in the world.
Play sweeper or did
he played sweeper? Just phenomenal football player.
The hardest side foot in the world.
So I cleaned his boots. So do you know the copers? You know the inserts. Now you would the metal studs. So you'd go the back 2 and the front 2 studs, and you kind of mix them for grass. All his studs were metal. Like he'd done them all. Right, his boots weighed a ton. Right, so you couldn't lift his boots up. Like they were heavy as anything. And I used to think, how is he be able to run in them? Because he wasn't quick anyway. But I think it was just his boots were so heavy that see if he pinged the ball, see if he passed the ball to you, it was like whack. It was absolutely zinged in.
Because you did that as well. I played fives. You could
absolutely smashed it into you. But I would just love to have seen him in his prime. Like he was 33, 34 when he came to Hibs, but imagine him at 23, 24.
I've checked when he came to Celtic. He was a bit older, and you think, how good were these boys?
See that year that he was with Marseille? Did they win that? They won it that year, didn't they? So he won the Champions League. Aye.
He beat Rangers. I'm cleaning his boots. He's won the Champions League.
They beat Rangers in the semis.
Aye, beat Rangers, and then I think they beat Milan, but it was a bit of controversy because I think they were paying the refs. Not the boy Bernard Tappy, wasn't it? He was. I think he was.
I remember that.
He had the refs on his phone book.
So mate, listen, there's a question that when I told a few people you're coming on, that's a question I wanted to ask you, so I'm glad some people had asked it. So you think about some of the names you mentioned, right? Gary O'Connor, Derek Riordan, you, Fletcher. Why are we not producing strikers anywhere? You think about, you had 5 or 6 there that would walk into any team now across the SPL, including Scotland's national team. Even I think back to the junior teams I played with, it's some right top strikers, centre forwards, Dingy, Robert Downs, Gavin Friels. These guys all had brilliant careers. Why has it stopped? I think
there's a couple of things. I think so. I coach at Bradhurst at the performance school. I have been in there for 5 or 6 years now, and I go and watch some youth games. And there's not a lot of teams now. Firstly, play with 2 strikers. Yeah, you know that there's this 4-3-3, and you know, one up front, one behind. And I ask the boys in training. I say, right, we're doing finishing. Who's the strikers here? Nobody puts their one up. No. It's weird. And we used to, who's the strikers? Everybody,
if you weren't a striker, you would say,
what position do you play, wee man? Oh, I'm a 10. what position do you play? Oh, I play half a left, I play half a right. There's nobody the number 9. So that's the first thing. And I think the second thing is, as I said, 4-4-2. I think it might, I hope it comes back in, because there was nothing better for me than watching Dwight York and Andy Cole, Haitley and McCoist, guys like that, Larson and Sutton. The two striker things I think has been phased away by, I'm not going to blame Pep Guardiola, but the false 9 and one up front, I want to get back to 2 up. There's nothing better for me than seeing a 4-4-2. Balls wide, that Man United team with Beckham and Giggs, ball wide, balls into the box, 2 strikers going and attacking it. Weird step overs, 2 strikers combining, and the pro youth teams do not play that way.
Hi everybody, my name is Alex McFadden. I am the owner and founder of a company called Pitch to Placements. Now, Pitch to Placements is a company that is a training company, but is also a placement company. Now, we can train you to be in sales and recruitment jobs, not only in the UK, but across into Dubai as well. So we've actually managed over the last year of the business been going to take footballers from either their career is finished early, they have been released from clubs, they have been injured, they've got to the tail end of their career and Father Time catches us all. We want to make sure that stigma of you've only played football has always drove me up the wall, because the skill sets that we get in football through resilience, through being able to want to win, being in changing rooms, being able to be round about people, these skills have genuinely made you tailor-made to be in sales. With our experience, our company and the community we give you, we will start to bring you on that journey so you can get to that stage where you're either building a career for when it's done, or if you came to the end of your career and you're looking to now take the next step into a world where you can earn really good money. Now, this isn't jobs that are kind of back-end jobs. We won't earn a lot of money in sales. These are real corporate environments where you can thrive and make a lot of money. So if you are in any one of these positions and you want to know a little bit more about our company, please reach out to us. You can get us on all our social media platforms and on our website. A conversation is all we're asking for, to make sure there's too much of a stigma around about football and some of the disaster stories we hear in the podcast about people not knowing what to do next. Genuinely, we're looking to make an impact and make sure that you know you aren't out there on your own. If you want to hear more, please reach out to us. I watched a thing the other day because I knew you were coming on, but it was like a few things I was looking to strike partnerships. I watched Dwight York and Crouchy playing together. See some of their link-up play, man, it was wild. And by the way, teams couldn't defend it because if it went long and high, Crouchy's obviously big and physical, he was getting it done. But then you have to worry about another striker getting it off him on the deck. If it isn't going to him, Crouchy's getting the box because he knows the foe's going to game it. If it's one guy, it's surely a defence find that easy to occupy.
Absolutely. And the best spell I had at Hibs was playing up front with Mixer, Pat Lennon and Craig Brewster with 2 target men, and I was obviously quite nimble and quite sharp and quick, and I'd run in behind, and it would cause defences problems because the big man up there, he would hold it in or he would flick on, you run onto it. And I think as a defender now, you're playing at 2 centre-halves playing against 1 striker.
It's easy.
It's easy. If you're put 2 up there, teams are obsessed now with keeping the ball, keeping possession, playing through the lines, getting the ball wide. But for me, I still always prefer a 4-4-2.
They were talking about it. Listen to TalkSport this morning. They were saying about Michael Carrick at Man United at the weekend there. He went 4-4-2. And these players at Man United, who are obviously good players, I've went for looking like they didn't have a clue what to do to play Man City off the part. And it's like, keep it simple for players. 4-4-2, everybody knows their role. 2 up front causes them problems. I think it is the Pep Guardiola thing. I think everyone, these new
because
coaches have
so
thought,
good, they've copied him.
It's cool, that's fashionable, that's the way to go. Sometimes keep it simple for players, and that's the best way to do it. So I hope 4-4-2 comes back as well.
I totally agree. I think the 4-4-2 is you're right, it's easy to explain. You're a striker, right, you're 2 up front. When you've not got the ball, you split, you go and you cover the full-backs and the inside centre-halves. It's easier to press, I think, as well, with 2 strikers if they know what they're doing. So I totally agree.
The reason I asked you that is I was looking at a thing that showed you today's top strikers, right, and it was like Haaland, and they'd done a couple with Benzema and all these guys. See, when you look back at the era when it was 4-4-2s and stuff, the list of strikers was like endless. I was looking at it, was like Batistuta, Romario, all these guys like Ronaldo. You're just looking at it going, you don't know where the next crop's coming from. That it can be like that.
But again, it's like wide. So look at Martin O'Neill going into Celtic now, right? So Celtic used to pass the ball to death, right, and try and pass the ball into the net. Now with Martin O'Neill, he's got two wide players and he tries to get the ball in the box. When the wide players get the ball, you don't really see the fullbacks going and killing their space. He just tells the wide players, like, go at them, try and get in the box or else go direct.
You might see now with Martin O'Neill, he's got a striker in, and if he brings another one in, you might see him going back to, because all the Celtic teams that I played against were, I'd say 3-5-2, more than 4-4-2, but they played with two strikers. Whether it was Larsson and Sutton or Larsson and Hartson.
Did you watch Mulgrew's pitch to par with Larsson? Have you seen it?
No.
Larsson says that in one of his things. He's going, just get the ball in the box. Strikers want the ball.
He couldn't have played his own striker, Larsson. He had to play with somebody as well, you know.
It was interesting, because I do think it actually pains me, because I was a striker, but when you watch it, you're going, where is
kids don't want to be number 9 now. It's so weird. They want to be an 8 or a 6 or an 11 or a 7 or.
Aye, but leading on for that question, just for the Hibs angle, why do you think Hibs produce so many strikers like that? Because you look at Fletcher, Gary O'Connor, yourself,
Kenny Miller,
Mitchell Patterline and Kenny, all these guys. Hibs have had unbelievable strikers over the last 20 years.
Griffiths, I don't know. I don't know why. But there's a great picture with Bobby Williamson's team. So we had 5 strikers. This is the start of the season, and our 5 strikers at Hibs.
I've seen this. Was it in the paper?
Was me, Scott Brown, Stephen Dobbie, Gary O'Connor, and Derek Riordan. That was our 5 strikers we played the whole season with, and I was the oldest at 23.
So the question then is, you definitely won the Celtic Rangers would have picked yous up as boys now. So when you think, look back at it now in this era, Celtic Rangers would grab yous, because just goal scorers just done there.
No, I totally agree, and as I said, I just think it's not been coached out of them, but you go and watch games in a 4-3-3 or 4-3-2-1 and all that stuff, 4-1-1-2, and it's just, I think the two strikers element is going out of football, and I don't think that's a good thing.
Stephen Dobbie was some player, wasn't he?
Dobbs was a great player. Dobbs was at Rangers as a kid, and he get released. I don't know if he get released or Hibs signed. So Bobby Olsen signed him for Hibs, and I used to travel through him. He was for Ballanark, so I used to meet him at the showcase, and he was fat. Like, I'm not going to like he's in some shape now, by the way. Like, he was just fat. And his ability was incredible. Like, he could nutmeg. Honestly, he was brilliant. So we used to travel through together, and we'd finish training, we'd go back through, and he'd like, stop at a garage. I'd be like, I don't need petrol, Dobbs. He's like, I just stop at a garage, just go and get something to eat. I said, it's just a lunch at Easter Road. I know, but I just want a juice or something. And again, without fail, every day meal deal. Sandwich, crisps, chocolate, and a Coke or a Sprite. And his diet was horrendous. And he was nearly out the game, though, because he went for Hibs he scored a great goal against Rangers in the semi-final that got us through, but he went for there to St Johnstone to Dumbarton, and Jerry McCabe was at Dumbarton, and after Dumbarton it was juniors, and I don't know what happened, something clicked in him, and he got a move to Queen of the South, and then Queen of the South Swansea. But you look at him now, I see Dobbs now, and he's ripped, he looks great, but his early part of his career,
just attitude.
He nearly ruined with unbelievable ability.
But that's probably because he'd been at Rangers, and he thought after Rangers, well, I don't need to try anymore. I could just get through with ability, but you can't, you just fitness as well.
Absolutely.
So mate, Hibs obviously, calling Wikipedia, Dundee was next. What was that move like for you? Dundee are a great club, big club. Made a wrong move. Should have went to Motherwell. And Tony Mowbray came in as a manager at Hibs. And it was amazing because I was 23 when Tony came in, and I had signed 15 years worth of contracts at Hibs. I had signed a 2-year YTS. Alex McLeish gave me a 3-year deal, then gave me a 5-year deal. Frank Sauzee came in and gave me a 5-year deal. So I was on good money, right? Probably one of the highest earners at Hibs. So Tony came in, and the first day, get me in his office. He says, who's your agent? I says, there's a guy called Charlie Duddy at the time. He says, who's your agent? I says, Charlie Duddy. And she's going to give me his number. He says, by the way, what a contract you've got. Aye. He said, and by the way, you can't be. I was on a good basic, but I was on a massive appearance money. He says, I can't play you. He says, I can't, my budget's, I'm trying to cut the budget. He says, I can't play you. He says, so you need to go and renegotiate your contract with Rod Petrie at the time. We should have been trying to get blood out of stone, or you need to go elsewhere. So what I should have done is I should have went and renegotiated it and stayed at Hibs. But my agent's going, no, contract's a contract and all that.
So anyway, I played in pre-season and done well, and then started the first league game. Had a stinker, we lost 1-0, Mr. Sitter, and that was me. So I went down to Boston United before that, in loan with Gazza, and then come back up the road. Come back up the road.
Getting past that.
Go back to Gazza and that story, and come back up the road, and Tony says, listen, there's a couple of clubs want to sign you. He says, Motherwell, Terry Butcher, who were flying at the time, or Dundee, Jim Duffy, who were both in the league. And I'm going, there's only one option for me. It's got to Motherwell. So I spoke to Terry Butcher, agreed terms and all that. And Jim Duffy phoned me later on that night. He says, Tam, listen, he says, really, really want you. He says, I'll match with Motherwell's 3-year deal, I'll match with Motherwell's, I'll give you 35 grand signing on fee.
All right.
And I just was greedy. I went, I should never have went to Dundee. No, I went for the dough.
Who was the manager at Dundee?
Jim Duffy.
Duff.
And signed with Dundee, and Butcher was bailing, raging. Absolutely phoned me the next day, fuming, called me all the names under the sun. Signed for Dundee, and then done okay with Dundee. We get relegated the last day of the season, but looking back, I should have went to Motherwell.
Hindsight's a brilliant thing, mate, isn't it? Everybody says that, and it's like
everybody says it, and Dundee. I think Dundee are a bigger club than Motherwell, but I should have went to Motherwell with Terry.
Aye. Jinky was saying that on here as well. He should never have left Hibs, didn't he? But it's all right with hindsight sitting here with a sort of old head on. But a young boy,
somebody, and at the same time, somebody's at this 35 grand.
I know. Before you jump, I want to know more about that. But Gazza, I never knew this. God, tell me what that must have been like.
So, Tony Mowbray came in and says, "Listen, Boston want to sign you on loan." And I went, "Are you in MLS?" He went, no, Boston in England. League 2. I went, all right. And he says, listen, they'll pay your wages, they'll pay your appearance money. He says they're going to cover everything. And Steve Evans was the manager.
Did you play with Jim Dick?
No.
Dickie, no. He was there.
There was a few Scottish guys. Derek Lilly was there. Stephen O'Donnell. Not the Stephen O'Donnell, the other Stephen O'Donnell. So anyway, Steve Evans phones me. Good guy. Not a great manager for me, right? But good guy. Phones me, right, get you down. I start looking up who's there. Austin McCann's there, Andy Kirk's there, and Gazza's there. So I gets down, gets the train down to Peterborough, meets the chairman, gets to Boston. Apologies to anybody for Boston. It's an absolute shithole. Right? Stadium's like a shithole. So I'm like, oh, fuck. I meet Sauzee McCann, and Ozzy's like, you watch yourself with Gazza, and all that. He's always up to stuff and all that. So I gets to the hotel, and it's me and Paul Gazza staying in the same hotel as me.
Oh Jesus!
I meet him in the foyer, and I'm just like, I can't believe this. I've got Gazza staying in the same hotel as me, and Gazza says, I'll get a lift to training the next day. So me and Gazza, I travelled with Gazza for 6 weeks to training, and then eventually I left because Boston United came to a deal with Paul Gascoigne that he would get a percentage of the crowd. There was a massive thing. Boston's a wee town in England, in Lincolnshire, and they'd agreed, Steve Evans and the board had agreed with Gazza, listen, our average crowd's 2,000, so anything above that, every home game you can get. So I remember the first game I played was Cambridge United at home, and Gazza's one of his first games as well, and nearly 5 minutes to go, the tannoy comes out of the crowd. This place was packed to the rafters, right? Oh, I see Gazza hanging off the roof. It must have been 5,000-6,000 there. And the tannoy came over, today's attendance is 2,850. And Gazza's going mental. He's turning to Evans going, you're bumming me for money. You're bumming me, I want my dough. Right, and that continued over the next couple of weeks. Listen, we played Fulham in the Coca-Cola Cup, and there was you couldn't get moved. The terracing, today's attendance 3,100. Like Gazza was getting about a grand a week. Bielan, so he left, but Gazza was brilliant. I travelled with him every day to training, and it was only me and him at Stide in Boston. I went to question a sport room. He said to me one day, he says, what are you up to today? And I was sitting bored. I was 23, 24, single, sitting in Boston in a hotel room. He says, you want to come down to London with me? I'm doing question of sport. I says, aye, brilliant. I go down to London. So I'm sitting in the audience, sitting in the crowd, and it was Phil Tufnell, I can't remember who the other guy was, and Gazza was on it. Another time he says, what are you up to today? I says, nothing. He says, come on, I'm going to play in a charity game, Hollyoaks against Brookside. Right? And I went with him to that, and it was all the Hollyoaks, all the lasses were playing it and all. So he took me everywhere, because he knew I was a young boy sitting there myself. He took me all over the place. He was after the bevy at the time. England were playing in a World Cup qualifier. There was a pub across the road, he chaps my door at 7:15. I'm sitting twiddling my thumbs, doing nothing, bored. Do you want to come out to the pub and watch the England game with me? I says, aye. So he wasn't drinking at the time. He walks into this pub and it's packed with England fans, and Gazza walks in, and it was like, they're all at him. All right, Gazza, can I get a picture? Can I get a selfie? You want a pint? Gazza's like, nah, I don't want to drink. So it must have been hard for him to be off the bevy. No, I'll get you a pint, because I wanted to say I bought Gazza a pint last night. So honestly, 10 minutes into the game, I look, there's about 10 pints sitting in front of him. So he's like, me man, I'm not drinking. He says, you want any pints? I went the next day, train the next day, plastered. I drank all these free pints watching England playing.
Some experience.
But I loved Gazza. 6 weeks I spent with him, and I loved him to bits. And he had a very caring side to him as well, because I remember he's very, very generous with his money. We were playing a game, and outside the Boston stadium, about 2 o'clock, we were just going into the stadium. There's a wee girl with cancer in a wheelchair, and she's got buckets they're collecting for her to go and get treatment in America or something. And Gazza says, what are you doing on it? She says, listen, I've got something in my car, just give me 2 minutes. Then his motor pulls a wedge of dough out. I'm talking like $1,000, $2,000, lifts the bucket up and just puts it in her bucket.
Brilliant.
Everybody,
and nobody sees that side of him. And the wee girl the mom was crying her heart out. Thank you so much. People were putting £1 in it, it's just fine. But he went in and put a couple of grand in
one of these Celtic Rangers charity games years ago, and the goalie was still here, and he was talking about Gazza, and he was greeting because he was like, it meant that much to him because how great a guy he was. So
I loved him. My old man came down as well. My old man came down to Boston and met him. My dad's a massive Celtic fan, and he came down, he's talking away to me, you said you broke my heart and all that with a 9 in a row and all that stuff. And after it, my dad's like, he's one of the best guys I've ever met.
He's one of the guys that Celtic fans love him. Not love him, but they didn't hate him, because they knew he was. He wasn't. It was nothing sectarian.
He would transcend both sides, wouldn't he? Like Tommy Burns probably, or Walter Smith, guys like that. Even Martin O'Neill, I think.
He was just up for a laugh, and he bought into the whole Rangers thing.
The Rangers boys tell some. He could have a full episode on here with the stories used to tell about him winding people up, man. Like it was like close to the bone sometimes, but hilarious, man.
And you'd be sitting having a cup of tea with him at breakfast, and it'd be on it, take this. All right, Gaffer. Who's that? Terry Venables. Who's that? These superstars. Brilliant. I loved my time. That was the high point for me, was spending 6 weeks with him.
That's amazing.
Brilliant. So obviously Dundee, how did you find Dundee? I know you went to Falkirk. You got to Falkirk for a short time after that?
So I went to Dundee. Last game of the season, we played Livingston away for him, and we were a point. There was no playoffs. We were a point behind Livingston. We played them the last game of the season. We had to beat them to stay up. If we beat them, they were down. A draw, they stayed up. And there must have been there was 3/4 of the stadium were Dundee fans, and there was a hill, there was about 1,000 up there. It was a massive, massive game, one of the biggest games I've ever played in. And we went 1-0 up, they scored. Last couple of minutes of the game, we're piling the pressure on. We've got 6 up front at this point, we need to score. And I cuts across the box, hits at my left foot. Roddy McKenzie was the goalie, big Roddy. Hits inside of the post, rolls along the line, he just falls on it. Like another inch that way, we'd stayed up. And there's pictures of me lying in the ground, floods of tears and all that. And
you must hate Livingston. Just tell me 2 stories.
I hate Livingston. The two worst moments in my career. Livingston relegated to their partner and beating us in a cup final. They're an absolute bogey for me. But and then we're into the championship with Jim Duffy, and Jim gets sacked shortly after that. Alec Kernahan came in, he gets sacked, and then Alec Ray came in, and then I was very fortunate that I would get back to the SPL with Big Yogi phoned me, and they got me into Falkirk.
Did you enjoy your time there?
I did. I didn't make many appearances. It was funny because I tell this actually story in my after dinner stuff, but the last day of the transfer window, I signed for Falkirk, and I signed in the same. Me and Anthony Stokes signed in the same day.
Right.
So Stokes, he was 18, coming up on loan for Arsenal, and I'd played 150 games for Hibs and Dundee. And done really well, really experienced. And we played Dundee United, I think it was the next day, and Alan Gow was there, and he was injured. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm straight in the team. There's no chance Big Yogi's. I played with Yogi at Hibs. He's not playing this wee fanny before me. Right? Let's be honest, he's 18. He's not one senior appearance. So the Friday we trained, we done boxes and finishing, And Stokesy was unbelievable. Right, so I'm sitting going, fucking hell, he's handy. I might be struggling for a game here. And then Yogi must have, I probably would have been playing, but Yogi seen him in training and went, I've got to play him. So he read the team out, and Stokesy's playing. He started up front with Pedro Martinez. I'm sitting raging going, he's playing him before me, I can't believe this. Bide your time, Tam, he's not ready for the SPL. Right, you'll be on shortly. Stokes just got a hat trick that day. He scored 16 goals in 14 games for Falkirk.
Good player, man.
And I watched every one of them for the bench. I just couldn't get into the team. So eventually I ended up going to Dunfermline after that, but I couldn't get into the team. Alan Gow went to Rangers. He was flying that season.
I went in trial with Falkirk for Larkhall Thistle, and Alan Gow was there, and all I remember was the build they had on him.
Absolutely shredded,
in the change room, I was like, put my t-shirt on.
Shredded. And Yogi was mad into his fitness. Yogi loved him, but he was superb. Him and Stokes were brilliant. I couldn't get in the team. And Russell Latapy was playing behind him, and he was just threading balls in. Falkirk were really good, but I went to Stephen Kenny signed me for Dunfermline.
There's been a few people, and I don't know where this story came from, and you've got one of your pals to thank for it, right? But when I was doing a bit of digging, it was either Dunfermline or Hibs, because I've heard the same story, but people have told me it was different. Did Wayne Rooney have you in a headlock at some point? Is that true?
You didn't really get that one in. Aye. So we played...
Was it Dunfermline or Hibs?
No, it was Hibs.
Was it? Somebody told me I handed Dunfermline, then I went...
Dunfermline was another time I played against him. I'll tell you the two stories about Rooney. So the first one... I broke my leg at Hibs. I was only 21. I broke my leg in the January, and I'd missed the rest of the season. So pre-season, we were playing Everton in a pre-season game at Easter Road.
Yeah.
David Moyes the manager, and it's my first game back for a broken leg. So I'm on the bench, and Wayne Rooney's playing for Everton, starting 15-year-old, right? But he's like, the word is he's unbelievable. Everybody knows about him, right? He's playing for Everton's first team. He's built like a man, right? He's neck out of there, tank. Anyway, he's superb. I come on at half time. My boy Freddie Arpignon played with Hibs, slotted me through, bang. Richard Wright, who was the most expensive goalie in the Premiership at that point, it was his debut for Everton, and I lashed one by him. Took my tap, not at a friendly game, like it's embarrassing, right? Tap off, celebrating, people laugh, what are you doing, it's a friendly? Anyway, 10 minutes to go, Rooney tops Mark Dempsey, centre half for Hibs. Tops him, goes in, tops him. So I run there. I like to get involved in all that. So I goes there and goes, you doing your fucking... So two are pushing and all that, and he just grabbed me, right? He's 15 by the way. Right, I'm 21, 22, but I'm about like that, right? He just grabs me in a headlock, like that. And I couldn't move at 15, right? And people are trying to get him off me, he grabbed me, he's suffocating me. So, see, I get there after the game, and they're all howling. Gary Smith, Mark Grant, and all the boys are going, a wee guy at 50 had you in a headlock, you pussy.
Who did you ask me that? It was fucking Craig.